What's up, YouTube? My name is Big Boy Snatch John TV, aka what kind of snacks you want because I got plenty go around. This is my AEW Dynamite review on how. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel because I'm on the road to 9K and become a YouTube partner. Follow my social media down below in the description and go check out my WWE NXT review on how I posted on the channel yesterday. And that's all I gotta say. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite was a pretty good show, and I give it a 6 out of 10. AEW Dynamite was live from Norfolk, Virginia, Cartway Arena. It says the opening power takes us to ringside as Mark Briscoe makes his way for our opening contest. Kevin Knight's music hits. Kevin Knight music is his his next as he and Mike Bailey make their entrance, followed by the arrival of Kenny Omega to a big pop from the crowd. The AEW International Champion makes his way to the ring as the fans chant for him. Ricochet makes his entrance first for the opening for opposing team, followed by the Young Bucks before the coin drop signal the arrival of Kazuchika Okada, the AEW Continental Champion, rounding out the competitors as the squad makes their way to ringside. They enter the ring to boos. Okada and Kenny Omega mount off before this match gets underway. So we get an all-star 8-man tag team match. Kenny Omega, Mike Bailey, Mark Briscoe, and Kevin Knight versus Kazuchika Okada, Ricochet, and the Young Bucks. And this was a fun 8-man tag team match. But the ending was just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was got off, I don't know if it was weird. You know what I'm saying? But the ending was just confusing. That's all I gotta say. Two competitors kick off in the ring, circling the canvas as the crowd chants for Kenny Omega, and Okada backs up to tag in Nicholas, who calls for Kenny Omega to tag in Bailey. Kenny turns his back to look at his partner for the night, and this caused enough of the distraction for the Young Bucks to rush in for a sneak attack. After this, Nicholas and Kenny lock up with Nicholas taking control of the ropes, wrenching it a beat the best bout machine arm over and over before bringing him to the ropes for a tag to Okada. Double team from Okada and Matthews continues to work on the arm of Omega before Ricochet tags in to cause even more damage. The showing of by the showing off by the group leads to Kenny Omega fighting back, wrenching the arm of Ricochet before handing him over to an unknowing Matthews who goes to work or on his arm instead until he realized, feeling the very bald head of Ricochet, that he's made a huge mistake. Kenny Omega continues the attack, bringing Ricochet to the corner for a tag to Bailey, who quickly takes Kevin Knight in for a double team on Ricochet. Tag made to Mark Briscoe, and Ricochet has finally had enough as he makes the tag to Matthews, only for the former Ring of Honor World Champion to take the fight to him as well. Chaos ensues as all 8 men get into it. Do not at one can be land and elbow jump on another before the standoff. This leads to a brawl to clear the ring. Aside from the Bucks, Briscoe and Bailey with the EVP getting clear out of the ring with a double crane kick. The crowd cheers as we go to a full commercial break. We're back from commercial break. Bailey and Ricochet go at it in the ring until Matthews and Kevin Knight run in, with Matthews and Ricochet sending their opponents on a train ride, courtesy of the locomotion Northern Light suplex combination. Matthews falls with Ricochet to give him glimmering and a "You're still ball" chant from the crowd as Matthews yells out for a brainbuster that he hits on Speedball. Ricochet does the same, but Bailey counters only for a tag to Okada to cut Mike off. An attempt by Okada to do a brainbuster leads to all 8 competitors in the ring, with the Elite and Ricochet calling for a brainbuster, only for all 4 of them to be taken out with a suplex instead. The ring is eventually cleared as Nicholas tags in, but so too does Kevin Knight, loading some hard kicks on Nicholas to send him to the corner. Kelvin Knight catches him with a hurricane, sending the MVP to the mat for a near fall. Nicholas fights back as Okada and Ricochet clear off the apron, allowing the Young Bucks an opening with a tag to Matthews before Omega tags in as well. Okada wants nothing to do with his old rival, who takes the fight to Matthews before he sets Bailey up for a slam to the mat off the bottom rope. At the same time, Kenny Omega is sent from the apron to the floor. This gives the bat the baddies control of the match as we go to commercial break. Back in the ring is all Matthews and Kenny Omega with the latter fighting off the opposing team in the corner before Matthews connects with a DDT on the best bout machine. Tag made to Ricochet, but Kenny invades a springboard 450 to take him to the canvas. Matthews tags back in, but so too does Mark Briscoe, who fights off the Young Bucks before Kevin Knight and Bailey give an assistance that fans off everyone but the recent tag Okada, who takes the fisherman's buster from Mark Briscoe but managed to kick out at 2. Okada fights off a J Driller attempt for a backbreaker on Mark Briscoe climbing up top for an elbow drop before marking the crowd and Kenny Omega. He gives the one finger salute to Speedball as well, with Bailey kicking it away before the Bucks run in and take him out with a super kick. Ricochet runs in and the ring ends up clearing out Miss Okada and Kenny Omega despite not being the legal man. Kenny Omega steps into the ring to confront his old rival and the two trade left and rights before Okada evades a one-ring angel, only to take a snap dragon suplex to the mat instead. The Young Bucks run in as Kenny Omega dunks a Rainmaker Lariat, only to be hit with a double super kick by the EVP. This leads to Okada and Matthews setting up for a double Mel- Meltzer Melter driver as Okada pins the actually illegal Briscoe, but only gets a near fall. The ring gets cleared out once more, leaving Mark Briscoe to connect with a J Driller on Okada for the cover, but Ricochet breaks the pin. Ricochet goes up top, but is intercepted by Bailey, who gets Ricochet on his shoulders, and Kevin Knight hits a big drop kick, sending him to the outside with the ring clear yet again. We focus on Mark Briscoe going up for a foggy blow, but Okada dodges it, setting Mark Briscoe up for a Rainmaker Lariat to pick up the win. The winner of the match by pinfall, Okada, Ricochet, and the Young Bucks. This was a fun 8-man tag team match, and but the outcome was just weird. It's weird having all-star 8-man tag matches back to back weeks, but this week in particular was a thrill of an opening contest. Appreciate the shut up Escobar performing the vibe I was getting of this being a PWG special. Lot of fun spots for everyone involved. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Backstage, the Hurt Syndicate bumped into some local talent. Backstage, chanting "We Are People," leading the trio to a bridge attacking the man before having a chant about MJF, who we will hear from later tonight. The group comes to a consent before walking off, and we go to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. Back at ringside, the new AEW World Truest Champion are in action as the Ops make their way to the ring as we see their opponent in the ring. So we get the Ops versus Nick Kamamoto, Reed, Red Titus, and Miles Hawk. And this tag team match, this was a squash tag team match, but I'm glad the Ops won. Titus Red Titus and Samoa Joe start things off the off in a battle of Ring of Honor mainstay of different areas with Samoa Joe sending Red Titus to the corner for some punches before launching him across the ring. Instagram by Samoa Joe before tagging in Shibata with Kamato tagging in to try his hand against the wrestler. Some hard hits from both men before Shibata gets sent down hard. Hawkins tags in, but is quickly dispatched before being sent to the ops corner for a tag to Powerhouse Hobbs. He lays into Miles before hitting a body slam, followed by sending him to the corner for a series of lyrics as the crowd chants meet over and over. Powerhouse Hobbs set up for a big spine buster, driving Hawks down hard for the pin and the win. The winner of the match, the Ops. This was a squash match, but I'm glad the Ops won. We get a reminder that Samoa Joe challenged John Moxley for the AEW World Championship at Dynamite Beach Break. A speaking of he and the Death Riders blindside the Ops in the ring. The fight leads to Samoa Joe bringing John Moxley up the ramp, starting to lock in the Kakuna clutch. Kakuna clutch before Claudio sets Shibata up for a neutralizer on a chair in the ring. Samoa Joe rushes into the ring as the Death Riders escape through the crowd before Samoa Joe grabs a microphone to run down the champion and his crew. He says that John Moxley claims he wants Samoa Joe 1-on-1, but it seems he doesn't really want. So let's give John Moxley and the people what they really wanted. If Samoa Joe if Samoa Joe is gonna fight John Moxley for the world championship, let's do it inside a steel cage. This gets a pop from the crowd, who chants Samoa Joe's name as he says he will be the next AEW World Champion. His music hits as Samoa Joe and Powerhouse check on Shibata, while commentators hype the finals of the Women's Owens Hart Foundation tournament between Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter. With that, we cut away to um John Moxley is killing AEW. That's all I gotta say. But John Moxley needs to drop the AEW World Championship. It's either to what's his name not I forgot his name Will Ospreay. So John Moxley needs to drop the AEW World Championship to Will Ospreay. So that's all I gotta say. It says a sit down interview with the CEO herself as she talks about her match at Double or Nothing, as well as the title she currently holds. She says that despite the name of the tournament, this is not about the hearts, it's about her. Renee talks about Jamie Hayter's advantage going into the match, but Mercedes Renee points to her undefeated record as proof she can't handle the challenge ahead of her. Every time she steps into that ring, she changed the game. Jamie Hayter reminds Mercedes Moné a lot of herself, except for the goofy look. With that, we wrap up the interview and we go to commercial break. This was a, pretty solid interview. The trios match was above all else as good way to bring out the Death Riders and set up for the potential steel cage match for the world title at Beach Break between Samoa Joe and John Moxley. That said, nice to see Camarado back in action. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Mercedes Moné's segment are kind of up and down some weeks, but this interview was pretty good and all pretty good when all told. Should be a fun match at AEW Double or Nothing against Jamie Harris. This was a pretty good interview by Mercedes Moné. I might as well say it. So we go to commercial break. Backstage, Nick Wayne is asked about representing the Partridge and the AEW in the upcoming Best of the Super Juniors tournament in the New Japan. Christian Cage insists all questions should be asked of him, but is interrupted by Jay Lethal, wanted to see if the champ is ready to prove himself by defending the title tonight. Nick Wayne tries to hurt and haw about it before Christian Cage accepts on his behalf. This gamer's a sour look from Nick Wayne Jay as Jay wishes him luck before walking off. Back at ringside, Thomas Tony Storm make her way to the ring for our next match. We get a look back at Tony Storm in the red carpet before looking at her opponent for tonight. Miyu Yamash Yamashita. Back at ringside, Mayu Yamashita Yamashita heads out to a nice reaction from the crowd as she heads to the ring to get this title eliminator match underway. So we get an AEW Women's World Title eliminator. Thomas Tony Storm versus Miyu Yamashita. And this match right here, this was a, you know what I'm saying? This was a good match right here. Yeah, this was a good match. Code of Honor, um, I heard to with a handshake before the two women lock up with the champ finding herself in a side headlock by Miyu. She fights out to wrench the arm only for Yamashita to the corner with some kicks, forcing Tony Storm to the ropes. Tony Storm fights back with the Luther Express for some punches, followed by a backbreaker and a snap suplex. Tony Storm heads up top, but is intercepted by a kick from Miyu, forcing the champ to regroup on the floor outside. Yamashita goes for another kick, but is cut off by Storm, only for Miyu to dodge a hip attack on the ring post, landing some hard strikes on the old per- upholsterer of the Thomas one. Luther tries to intervene, but is shoved away, allowing Miyu to send the champ to the floor as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Miyu is still in control of the match as she heads to the corner for a kick from from the turnbuckle. Tony Storm dodges it, leading to a trade of strikes between the champ and the woman looking to earn a title shot. Ya, ya, Yamashita, ya, ya, Yamashita with a race lock that's countered with a back elbow, allowing Tony Storm to hit a release German suplex, but it's laid out with a spinning back kick from Miyu. She struggles for a cover, and that costs her as the champ kicks out at two. Tony Storm backs up, hitting a sky high for a near fall, followed by a Northern Light suplex for the same result. Miyu gets back up now, landing a kick before hitting the ropes, but no one is home as Tony Storm managed to land another release during suplex, sending her to the corner. Running hip attack connects, followed by a Storm Zero for the win. The winner of the match, timeless Tony Storm. And this match right here, this was a very good match in my opinion. No time for a celebration as Mercedes Moné steps onto the stage, promise, promising that after she wins the Cup, she will come after what she believes is hers. The AEW Women's World Championship, darling. This draws out Jamie Hayter, who lays out four belts Mercedes Moné before staring down Tony Storm from the ramp with the Women's World Championship enjoying Jamie Hayter's music um join Jamie Hayter's music a little too much. The title eliminator made for a good showcase of what Miyu Yamashita could do, even if the results was not quite in doubt. Post match, we hear from Mercedes Moné, and it will be honest, I don't know if I'm ready for an AEW Women's AEW with Mercedes Moné literally holding all the titles. LOL. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. We cut backstage where Don Callis talks about making history for focusing on Kyle Fletcher's match tonight against Hangman Adam Page. Kyle Fletcher looks to take out Hangman Adam Page tonight before beating Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing to make him say his full name, which Don Callis reminds us is the photo star Kyle Fletcher. Um, Back at ringside, the Hurt Syndicate make their way out to into a "We Hurt People" chant from the crowd. MVP addresses the um, anonymous anonymous vote needed to bring a new member in the fold before MJF makes his way out to the ring. MVP cuts MJ off. I'm sorry, MVP cuts MJ little speech off quickly saying Let's get this done quickly. Thumbs up from the MVP and Sean Benjamin, and we await the response of Bobby Lashley. He starts to give a thumbs down before turning it back up, only to give a firm thumbs down and the end. Much to MJF, charging. MJF says he's about sick of Bob asking him what exactly he wants. What what is that would intrigue him? How about some role game? He stares down Bobby Lashley, who responds by showing the former world champion to the corner, reminding MJF that he hurt people, and if MJF wants to prove himself, he has to hurt somebody. Bobby Lashley finally relents as he regroups with MVP and Sean Benjamin, the Hurt Syndicate making their way up the ramp as MJF favors his jaw while thinking over what Bobby Lashley told him. The trios make their way to the back as commentators talks about the implications of this further. One really good thing about this week's MJF slash Her Syndicate segment is Lashley making it very clear what it will take for him to consider letting MJF in by hurting someone. That is a dangerous act of MJF considering his own past in AEW #AEW Dynamite. So we get a video package. Stokely halfway talks about FTR looking to come to cement their legacy and win back the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Back at ringside, Nick Wayne makes his way to the ring for our next match, only for his music to be cut off by the arrival of Christian Cage to accompany him to the ring. Out next is Jay Lethal, and this Ring of Honor World Television Championship match is underway. So we get a Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Nick Wayne defends against Jay Lethal. And this match right here, this was a decent match. Alright. Code of Honor is not alternative as Nick Wayne refused to handshake before taking the fight to Jay Lethal early on. Jay Lethal fights back with some arm drags, forcing the champ to take a breather with some arm drags, forcing the champ to take a breather on the outside as Christian Cage gives him some words of advice. Before Nick Wayne gets back in the ring, Nick Wayne catches Jay Lethal with a kick to the gut before sending him to the corner for some strikes until the challenger fights back, sending Nick Wayne away for some strikes of his own. Nick Wayne takes advantage of an opening, but the champ is in trouble after a set of hip tosses and a drop kick by Jay Lethal. The action spills to the outside where Nick Wayne takes Jay Lethal down hard to the floor to regain control of the match. And as we go to the commercial break, back from commercial break, Nick Wayne sends the challenger back in the ring and in the corner for more damage. Only for Jay Lethal to hit a series of pinfall combinations for a near fall and a lethal combination that yells the same result in the end as the champ managed to kick out. Jay Lethal goes up top but is intercepted by Nick Wayne, who gets sent back to the mat by the challenger. Jay Lethal goes for the elbow drop, but Nick Wayne managed to counter for a curve flip pin and a two count. Dragon screw by Jay Lethal as he hits the ropes, but Nick Wayne fights back before sending Jay Lethal to the corner. Roundhouse kick connects, followed by a cross Crossroads Fisherman's Buster for the champ to retain. The winner by pinfall and still your Ring of Honor World Television Champion Nick Wayne. Christian Cage enters the ring alongside the Pentranchi looking at the belt for a moment before putting it around the champ's waist for a round of applause from the group, who leaves the ring to allow Nick Wayne to celebrate their title defense further. A good Ring of Honor television match here with the tensions between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. A big focus, even the even the background of the defense against former champion Jay Lethal causes to see where things go between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. And I hope Nick Wayne turns on Christian Cage. That's all I gotta say. Commentary confirms that AEW World Champion match at Dynamite Spring Break will be held inside a steel cage match as John Moxley defends against Samoa Joe. A video package for Double or Nothing leads to commentary talking about the final of the men's and women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament for the pay-per-view. And with that, we head to ringside for our main event. Kyle Fletcher is out first, followed by the Hangman Adam Page, and this match gets underway. So we get the main event of the evening. So we get the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament semifinals match. Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher, and this main event match right here. This was a good main event match. All right, the two men lock up, but it doesn't take long for Page to take control, only for Kyle Fletcher to take a breather on the outside. He eventually gets back in the ring as Page looks to lock up again, but Kyle Fletcher counters with a side headlock to take Page to the mat and mocks him by riding the Hangman, who gets back up to Kyle Fletcher down hard. He sends the Portal Star to the corner for some punches, but Kyle Fletcher fights back for another side headlock, only to be knocked down by Page, who set up for a buckshot lariat before Kyle Fletcher escapes the ring. Page barely gives him room to breathe, running at him with a lariat on the floor as we go to commercial break. We're back from the final commercial break. Both men are in the ring again, and Kyle Fletcher has control as he stands over Page, laying in a kick to the chest of Hangman, and another. He starts booting at Page before Adam goes. I'm sorry, Adam grabs his leg to stop it. Both men are up, trading strikes until Kyle Fletcher counters out with a dead eye, only to run into a lariat from off the ropes by Hangman. Both men, both men get back to their feet to trade punches, with Hangman getting the upper hand as Kyle Fletcher hits the running corner lariat from Page, who brings Kyle Fletcher down with a snapmare before looking for a dead eye again. Kyle Fletcher fights out, but gets caught by Hangman for a Death Valley driver and a near fall. Kyle Fletcher back in the corner as Adam continues the attack with corner lyrics match, much to delight of the crowd. Hangman Page sends the Proto Star across the ring, but Kyle Fletcher fights away before getting dropped with a fall away slam from the Hangman. This forces Kyle Fletcher to the apron, and he gets sent to the floor with a Hangman lariat. Kyle Fletcher managed to stop a moonsault attempt, the battle making its way to the apron as Kyle Fletcher sends Hangman down hard with a brainbuster onto the hard part of the ring, forcing both men on the floor. They strike. They make their way to their feet, bringing the fight to the barricade now, with Hangman dropping Kyle Fletcher onto the barricade before setting up for a tombstone power driver, dropping the Protostar to the floor as we go to commercial break. We come back from the break just in time to see Hangman Page and a superplex on Kyle Fletcher, bringing him crashing to the mat. As they get back to their feet, Kyle Fletcher sends Page to the ropes, only to be knocked down with a lariat by Hangman. Kyle Fletcher fights back with a half and half suplex, but Page responds with a leg up bomb to get a near fall. Kyle Fletcher starts to fight back before having to force himself out of a dead eye, only for Page to counter a powerbomb attempt for the dead eye after all covered by Heyman gets a 2 count. Page heads to the corner, going up top for a moonsault right onto the knee of Kyle Fletcher. Big powerbomb by Kyle Fletcher in response, but it's only a good for a 2 count. Page escapes to the corner while where Kyle Fletcher meets him with a running kick for a near fall, but he responds by stopping a buckshot Larry's attempt with a kick to the face. Back on the apron, and this turns out to be a mistake for Kyle Fletcher as Page drops him on the apron with a dead eye, sending him to the floor, followed by a moonsault. He brings Kyle Fletcher back in the ring for a buckshot lariat as Kyle Fletcher shows the referee, giving him a chance to nail a low blow on Hangman, followed by a brainbuster covered by Kyle Fletcher, but Page kicks out. Kyle Fletcher sends Hangman to the corner for another running kick, but the two fight it out on the top turnbuckle before Kyle Fletcher gets dropped to the mat. This gives Page the opening for not not one but two buckshot lyrics to secure the victory. The winner by pinfall in advancing to the finals, Hangman Adam Page. This was a very good main event match right here. The crowd pops big for the Hangman Adam Page with celebrates as commentary runs down the lineup for a collision and beyond as AEW comes to a close. It says hell of a main event between Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Adam Page. I will admit, I I will admit I about had Kyle Fletcher pegged as the winner here, expecting another Kyle Fletcher Ospreay match for the finals at dawn. But Hangman Page advancing makes for an interesting, dramatic both in the ring, dynamic both in ring and with their difference. With their different. All right, it says overall this was a fun and pretty strong episode of AEW Dynamite, especially in the terms of the in ring action itself. Maybe a little lighter on the story developments this week, but they still hit some really good good strides on stuff. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. All right, let me give my honest opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. Now AEW Dynamite was a pretty good show, and I give it a 6 out of 10. All right, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content that I do on the channel because I'm on the road to 9K and becoming a YouTube partner. Make sure you guys check out my WWE NXT review and highlights that I posted yesterday on the channel. Follow my social media down below in the description. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang. And I will make a 3-minute YouTube short video of me showing you guys my thumbnail twice in that video. And I will be going live on Twitch tomorrow for some Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So I hope you guys will come to my live stream on Twitch to watch me play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero because I want to show you guys the new characters I got for the DLC for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And that's all I gotta say. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kids, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.